Welcome to today's little look at the markets. My name is Craig Cobb from TRADERCOBB.com. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and ask me any questions that you may have throughout the stream. Of course, with many of, mostly the Australians anyway out there, guys, we do have time on our hands for most of us. If you'd like to learn a new skill, well, you don't have to spend any money either. You can go to TRADERCOBB.com and get all the ingredients. Yep, that's all the things that I use to trade for free. So it's pretty straightforward. Go to become a trader course, and that's a freebie. So go get stuck in if you want to learn something new, or see if it's something that makes sense to you. All right. So can you hear me? Is everything working this time around? I had to do a whole 45 minutes of working with the ISP provider, and I'm back. Are you back? Are you there? Just checking that it's all working. All right. Once I know that this is all good, I shall start. We're going to have a look at what's going on. Obviously, we've seen a nice move up and a wee bit of a pullback starting to occur at the moment, which I kind of like. So, yes. Hang on. Okay, it's weird. I can see your comments coming up. I just can't see it on the thing where it's meant to be coming up. I don't know what the story is with me and technology, but oh, there we go. Gotcha. It seems like I'm not being able to see. I can see the YouTube on this side, and I can see the Facebook on that side. There we go. All right, let's get stuck in. Okay. So yeah, I'll try. Third time lucky. Yeah. Okay. I'll jump straight in. Bitcoin's pulling back, and I don't see that as a bad thing. The pullback itself has been great. I'd like to see it now at some point at some point start to come back out. And the reason I say that is that what we've got a monthly that looks good. You know, we even broke the high. Was it 42,450? Yeah, we broke the high of last month's candle. Last month's candle ended up closing up nearly 20%, which is great. The weekly, we had a couple of really good weeks, obviously, which has been that run up. But we're still within this sort of range. It's not, I want to see us get out of that range. And what's really going to confirm or help me with that a lot is if we can set a higher low and, of course, then follow through with a higher high. Step one, go back up. Great. Get the monthly bullish. Did that. Step two, let's get that daily trend back with some momentum, because there is no daily trend there right now. We go from a low to a high. A 10-day run of upward momentum was fantastic, but I want to see that now turn into a daily uptrend, giving a lot more confidence to myself within this market. So what are we going to find? Well, that's the thing. On the 4-hour here, not finding anything. It's just a bit of a mishmash. You know, we've had, the pullback since the high up here has been nearly 10%. Not huge. But as I say, it's back into that cradle zone. And could we fall further? Absolutely. Yeah, of course. 37's a sweet number. So is 38. Anywhere in here, a couple of $1,000. We could pull back further. We could go all the way back down. I don't know. But at the moment, what I want to see is I want to see it slow and then start to come back up, giving us that higher high. So we're going to have a look now through some of these contracts and just see what we've got. And I think what we'll be doing is relying a little bit more on the higher time frames, given that, we've had a bit of a decent pullback. So that's what I'll be looking for good, strong trends. Okay, 1 inch. I mean, am I looking for any shorts at the moment? That's a question that may crop up. I'm not looking for them, but I'm not totally one-minded and one-sided. If I find something that is trending down, I'll be more than happy to look for opportunities to short. Now, Cardano here, oops. It's gone up quite well, but it's struggled to move too much, if you understand that. If you look here, look at this 4-hour. Yeah, we saw some good moves, but it's really been sticky. It's been really struggling to push to further highs. So, would I look for a short there? Not necessarily, but I will get some perspective. So what we've got here is the potential for a lower high and the potential for a higher low, which doesn't really help me. Nor does that. Nor does the 2-day. There's not much that really points me in the direction of, okay, look for a short here, because there's just not much cyclicity in that at all. Although we do have a lower high on the 4-hour. The reason I'm focusing here on Cardano is that it struggled with that further upside momentum that many of the other markets, including Bitcoin, was able to capture. But no, it's not ready for me just yet. And let me show that to you again. We still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or, I know that these aren't up candles, but we had the same period of time where we did see gains. But have a look at the way the difference of the charts. Look at Bitcoin, very explosive. Now, although the percentages may be the same, it's just because Cardano is a very volatile crypto. And now if I go, so I was 45%. Let's see, it's probably be about the same. No, so it did not move quite as far, and it just struggled to hold. Like the difference in the move as well is that the top of that move is a spike, 2 spikes, did not hold up there. Whereas Bitcoin, it really held. It ramped really, really, really nicely. So that's why I was looking. That's the logic behind me considering looking lower to see if there was the potential for a short there. There is not. Now, Alchemix has pulled back in. Very hard, of course, a very strong day up, followed by a very strong day down. Still overall up. Let's have a look at it on the 8. We're in the right spot here. My question is going to be, does a 16 have an uptrend? And the answer is yes. Look, there is a higher low here, and it has pushed on. So let's make this list blue. I'll keep an eye on that to see if I get a small bullish candle in there. Algo. All right, so Algo, let's have a little bit of an inspection on this. I'll see what levels I can get rid of. I can get rid of that. I can get rid of that. Hit the 12. I mean, we can look at this as a lower high, but we got. Let's say that's a lower high. Let's just work that in, because that's the daily where that push up has happened. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to establish, is there a level that is forming that's possibly tradable? And at this stage, I'd have to say no, there is not, because it's not. I mean, we can see that there is some support around that 80-cent mark, but there isn't too much more than that. And for that reason, I shall go past. Alpha, again, not enough cyclicity, not enough momentum there. Alt perp, back into this region here. We'll check that 12 and we'll check that 8. Neither of them really all that impressive. Again, a lack of that follow through of the trend is my main concern. Ample fourth, look, guys, this is a reason why it's so important to not just have trading strategies, but to understand markets, understand what it means to take profit, how to take profit, having plans. Because look, I mean, over the space of 5 or 6 days, you're up 100%. So you're going, yeehaw, that's bloody awesome. I'm up. And then over the same period of time, not only are you not up anymore, you're actually down, I mean, obviously, or about break even, whatever. But look at the profit that was left up there. It's so absolutely critical that if you're going to be in this market, that whether you're a trader, active trader, or whether you're someone who's an investor or whatnot, it's so important to understand that dynamic that this market has, and being able to make decisions, because again, and people that I know that know what they're doing, that I've trained personally in apprentices and mentorships and that sort of thing, didn't take profit. They knew they should have, didn't do it. And now it just makes that dynamic in your head a little bit more difficult. And the reason it makes it more difficult is because you're questioning things. Oh, if I can only just get back to here, or if I can only just get back to here. Well, you can't do that. You've got to plan ahead. Okay, Atom. Let's have a look at that. Before I do, I mean, that daily, it's got momentum to the upside on a pullback there. So would I be willing to try and capture the first potential downside move? Probably not at this stage. I'm not overly aggressively hunting at the moment. First of all, it's got a, yeah, I'll leave that as a reference point, but that is all. Leaving audio too sideways, avalanche too messy. Look, if the question, if Cardano doesn't hold this level or cross above 140, what's your thoughts on how low it can fall? Look, I guess the main thing on Cardano really is $1. That's, I mean, this is crypto. There's a lot of volatility. We know that, right? The biggest question in my eyes is, can we hold $1? Because that is the point at which there's been a lot of support. It's bounced off there a lot of times. If it can't hold $1, then we could really see the legs fall out. But it's still quite a long way from $1, of course. It's up there right now. Where are we? $1.28. Okay, Badger. So I looked at this morning. There's a wee pullback here. There was a bullish candle in the cradle zone right there. My issue, if you know what the rules are, is there was no trend on the daily, so it will be left alone once more. Balancer, still flat, struggling, leaving that. Band, what about the 12? This is what I mean. It's the higher time frames that are going to potentially deliver here. By the way, if you do see anybody who's saying, send me ETH and I'll send you back this much, I will not ask for your crypto, okay? I'm not like that. If you do see that, don't be sucked in, please. BAT. The 8. Let's check that 16. There is a trend there. Look, I'll throw it in for now. We might thin it out at the end. A little bullish candle in this region. As a bottom line, I would like to be aware if there was something that's set up in there. Bitcoin Cash, too messy up here. Lovely trend bouncing along through here. Look at that little cradle, nice move. That little cradle, nice move. As a matter of fact, that was one of the ones. There was a period, whenever that was, 27th of July last week, where there was a heap of opportunity, and unfortunately, that was the day to make your money. It's not about, you've got to be there when the trades trigger sometimes, and Johnny on the spot is what you got to be sometimes. I mean, that was at 6 o'clock, so most people probably with the ability to be around, except for me. I can remember there was a reason that I wasn't there. Like I said, I've had a hard time lately with these lockdowns, and I haven't been all that aggressive with my trading, and I haven't been all that eager either, to be fair. It's not me. It's been harder than I thought it was going to be, and I've had to sort of deal with that, I suppose. And I'm telling you this because it's truth, and because it's it's okay to express the way that I was feeling. We are human, and if we don't speak to others, then how are we going to get help? Because I can tell you, when you're in a bad spot, the last thing you feel like doing is answering a phone. You just want to be by yourself. So keep that in mind. Exercise has helped. So yeah, a couple more things coming in. What do you think about automated trading grids? I don't know what that is, so sorry, I can't actually comment on that. With automated trading, though, if you're going to code it yourself, I've always said, and I've always witnessed this, that unless you know how to trade yourself, it's very difficult to make a computer trade for you. Of course, that's very different than if somebody else has a system that you're happy with. Very different. Okay, coming into BNB now. Now, I had this in the list this morning. My concern about around the 12-hour, because there is a trend, high, low, we're bouncing along, and I pull back in. It's in a good spot. The issue is the daily. I can't see that as an uptrend. It's too helter-skelter. It's too all over the show. We'll check that on the 8. The 8's still okay. I don't love this little up and down, but I'm not as concerned. I'm going to keep that in the list. A little bullish candle off of here, given that it's not an exact support level, but old resistance connect is new support, and it's a region, let's call it. I'll just mark it through here roughly. You can see there is a region. Now, that's a bonus factor. It's not a make or break. A little bullish candle, of course, will take quite some time, but it's one that I would want to be aware of should it occur. Not interested in Bancor, not enough cyclicity. Ugh. Sand under my mouse. That ain't pretty. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the video if you are here. I would appreciate that. BSV, no thank you. BitTorrent is sideways. Cake. I think I was looking at that on the higher time frames this morning. Well, you can see here, pull back. It's there. There's a bullish candle there. That's got to be considered come the time. 3 hours to go, of course, so plenty of time to go. A bot. Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on bots. I have used them in the past, but that was based on my own trading around the TF contract, which is the Russell Mini. Did well, but I cover that when I'm in the program as well. Like, you know, statistically it would make me money each year, but psychologically it was very hard to take because it would be like 7 losers, 3 winners. The winners were good and would put me into profit. But what I was doing was it was actually affecting the way that I would trade discretionarily, if that's a word. Or it would affect my discretionary trading because I'd feel if you were on the 7th day of a loss or something, you were like, it would hold me back a little bit from taking further risk and anything else. Resistance ahead on Chili's, nothing else there. Hey, Cobb, people that trade for a living, is it true you need around 25K to trade with? No. You know, you got to remember that what someone thinks is a good living, it may be not good for you. It all comes down to 2 things. It comes down to your results and the cost of living for you. That's what's important. And that's, you know, you can start with a small amount, you can start with a large amount, whatever you're going to start with. I'd say start with a small amount of that. If you had 25 grand, I'd say, you know, start with 5. And you are going to make mistakes. There is going to be a period of time. You know, people forget that the guys and girls that are flying the airplanes in the sky spent years of training to get to that point. But why would it take years? They've got checklists. Like, sure, they just go in and you just do the checklist and, oh, hey, presto, you know, you're flying a plane. Well, it's the same with trading. Yeah, some people probably quite quickly could pick up how to fly, but then you've got to get your hours to be a commercial pilot. That's why there's different types of licenses. Same with trading. Just get started yeah, perfect time, Alexis. You got to get started and let that guide you. Okay, understand the risk principles. Understand what can go wrong. You know, so you've got to make sure that you make decisions based on you, not others. It will not help you, and it can be a big point of frustration. Big Root, do you scan every day all the watches that you include in your course, or you only scan some of them on a daily basis? 5 days a week, mate. I do that. That's called live trading floor. So yeah, I scan this whole list. I scan that list and that list. So I don't know, maybe 250 pairs or something. Yeah, it's been like that, hasn't it, Ash? Been a couple of good winners in there though. No worries, Big Root. Glad to be able to help. Well, hopefully that was helpful. But yeah, 25K is a good starting balance, man. Like, definitely not to be sniffed at. It's just, it wouldn't be an honest opinion if I didn't give you that that reality. You know, it's not a clean cut answer. Convergence, no thanks. Cream, ooh, coming back to a pretty tasty looking spot there. Based on what? Based on this. Yeah, okay, I know it's pushed up higher and there's resistance just there, which needs to be considered should a trade occur. But the fact it's come outside of this, let's see what we've got. Well, that's it, Ash. You know, that's the reality. Sometimes it's a lot easier than others at the moment. You know, there's been some good times, and as you said, you know, 7 losers, 3 winners, but still in profit. Yeah, it can be hard psychologically, but at least you're going in the right direction. And you know what you're doing. Okay, Crow. And look, trading's not always about, you know, every trade makes you money. Hey, look at me with my Lambo and all this sort of stuff. No way. It's hard work. It takes commitment. It doesn't, the hard work isn't the understanding of it. It's in your own head. Learning how to understand who you are and where your mistakes come from. It's challenging, but it's, you know, you've got to ask yourself, is it worth the challenge? If it's not, then don't do it. If you like the idea of freedom, I mean, you consider the lockdowns that are going on right now, right? It doesn't affect my ability to make money. That's a pretty powerful skill to have, even more so today than it ever has been. The freedom. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's there if you commit. Dash was in a nice trend, some opportunity for profits through there, but right now, again, coming off a bit, not looking all that hot, to be honest. Dawn, no thank you. DeFi pulling back further. Nah. Again, the cyclicity not there. Dent, it's yook. Good stuff, super duperties. That's it, mate. It's about commitment, isn't it? I don't think there's anybody that's achieved anything that's worthwhile, or they consider worthwhile. You don't achieve it quickly. I mean, look, some people do. Most people have to put quite a bit of work in. And that's not to say that, we don't have people that come in and do really well fairly quickly. Definitely do. But that's not everybody. I'm certainly not somebody who's out here just championing, saying, oh, trading's easy. The trading part's easy, yeah, really easy. The consistent profitability and management of mindset and risk and taking profits and all that sort of stuff and converting that into things that you want, that takes some commitment, man. That takes time. Okay, so Polkadot. High, low, high, low, high, low, poof. So the 8 hour's good. The 16, well, we can see those high lows through there. Yeah, granted, they're only 2 candles, but that's okay. Yeah, why not? Still got room to pull back further. That's a given. But there is a trend there. Dragon, I don't like you, Dragon, at this stage. There is no daily, so the 12 is therefore null and void. You have to have 2 time frames in agreement. Go a bit lower here on Elrond. Ugh. I mean, if it gave me something down here, I might consider it, but it's got a lot of work to do for that to really tick the boxes. Engine coming off, no trend. EOS, very much the same. Ethereum Classic in that same box. The Ethereum trend is now starting to lose some momentum. Not the clearest there on the 16 hour, and a bigger pullback. Still plenty much on the cards there. Coming back into the 2-2s wouldn't be out of the blue at all when you consider that it moved 57% over the period of 15, 16 days. So these pullbacks are pretty normal. Pretty normal. I'm going to leave exchange perp. It's got resistance there. Ooh, bona fide. Does a 16 add up? Yeah, we got those pullbacks on the 16, giving us the opportunity potentially on the 8 if we got a little bullish candle in there. That will factor and go in the list. File. I'm going to leave that for now. Flamingo. Back in the trend. Big pop, but nothing to work with at this stage. The daily doesn't have enough trend. I will leave that too. Flow. Mother flippin' flow. Was in there. Pulled back. Got 12.2x on that Ethereum Classic. My first good trade after doing the course. Excellent stuff. G'day, mate. That's good stuff, man. 12.2. That's a cracker, mate. Good stuff. More of that when the conditions are correct. Much the same as sailing. You enjoy it when it's good. When it's not, it sucks. The ocean giveth, the ocean taketh. Okay, FTT, bloody good trend. I don't like the activity. ETH, not Ethereum Classic. Got it. Not liking the action up here. Kind of pretty nuts. FT. Wow, what happened there? That's heavy. I'm not quite sure what the story is with that. Well, I've never traded feeder, so if there's Mitchell's just said that there's bugger all volume, so just be aware of that if you are to trade it, because it can all cause slippage, and that's costly, and you might not get a fill anyway, so it can be a big fat waste of time. 13% move. I'm just going to go out higher here. FTT per. Well, if you like the sailing analogy, go to that bloke that says sailing Popao. Popao? I don't know how to say it. That's what he does. He sails around shooting fish, the murderer. Look, there's nothing there on FTT. Yeah, it's just getting a bit messy up the top end. I'm going to leave that. All right, moving right. And by the way, another one that's had a ripper of a run. Just nothing that's of interest there. Graph token coming back. The whole market seems to be having somewhat of a correction right now, which is just fine. Oh, that means I lost money. Yeah, bugger. All right, well, there we go. Got into that today. It was a little bit of a larger candle, but I didn't mind the cyclicity. I got put in. I've now been, well, I hope I've been taken out, but that comes out now. Numero uno loss. All right. Dust it off. Move on to the next one. I'm also long metal. Well, might not be anymore. With this pullback, gaining some momentum. It's got a bit of legs at the moment. Let's have a look if there's any cyclicity lower time frames. Okay. 15. 30. It's definitely a trend. What you don't want to do as well is I suppose, the market starts to fall and you start going, oh, I've got to find a short. I've got to find a short. No, you don't. You've got to get a grip of yourself because you've got to understand where we are and get some perspective. And if you can't get that, you just stay out. Because look at this, low pull back in. We're in a downtrend. Could it fall further? Of course it could fall further. It's in a downtrend on the weekly. There's absolutely reason to believe that it could definitely go further. Could it go higher? Absolutely. But for that to occur, from my perspective, for this monthly to continue on its trend with that higher low and higher high, well, it's a wild one, but it's there. We need to break the high of that candle. So that's when your information your understanding of the information, that's when it becomes powerful. I always get criticized when people go, oh, thanks, Cobb, it could go up, it could go down. Yeah, no shit, mate. Yeah, but it's not just about that. If that's what you gather from these things, do yourself a favor and don't come back. Because it's the messaging around how we're going to get there and understanding what it is we're looking for. Go to My Accounts. You'll be able to download it through in the membership area, mate. Download the watch list in My Accounts. That's where it will be. If you have any issues, just email admin@tradercobb.com and they'll make sure they sort that out. I'm not overly interested in shorting Horby, nor with Hump. IOTA is very sideways to flat going down. Carver. Let's go. Ooh. Well, there is a trend. Let's check that 4. Yeah, we're converging on that puppy as well. Look, I'm going to put that in because there is momentum and it's pulling back, as is the whole market. Possibly a little cradle off of $6 might give us an opportunity. Again, it's a maybe because, well, we've got to wait for the setup. Kin's too spiky, too thin. Cobra has had a nice little move up, but it is getting a bit messy right now. Same with Kusama. Leo, no thank you. Lena, messy. Link, nice run again, but not much to really work with. Nothing of interest there either. Yeah, no worries, Alexis. I mean, that's the thing. It's a journey, right? It's typically you learn to drive a car forward before you learn how to reverse it, don't you? Oh, I like that analogy. I like that one. Nothing on Litecoin. So yeah, take your time. There's videos on this YouTube channel on how to go short, what sort of orders, that sort of thing. But the thing is you'll fill those boots when you are ready. Just try not to overcomplicate the fact that it's a directional play. That's all it is. It doesn't matter. Nothing changes. Do a handstand in front of your screen if you must. Change the colors of the candles if you must. But yeah, it's not something that's I won't say it's not something that should take up too much space in your brain, because it's not up to me to say that. It's just there is a non-complicated way of thinking about it, and it's just direction. Now that was beautiful. It wouldn't have triggered, so you wouldn't have made a loss, but I'm surprised. Oh, that's because I had no internet. That's why I didn't raise an order there, because that was pretty much what I was looking for this morning. That's why it was in the list, but no longer, because it's gone deeper. Maps. Okay. Problem. Yeah, 12 hours got a trend. Daily has no trend. Why? Because we go from the low to the high with no clear pullbacks. Johnny boy. 8 hours, cool. 16. Meh. It's all right. There is a trend. There is a trend. Kind of like it more in here. I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to take maps out. Never traded maps. I think it's quite thin on the old volume. I'm leaving Matic. I'm leaving mid. And I'm about to find out if I have another loss. I split the risk across 2 trades this morning, both long, and as you can see, probably not going all that well. MTA, oh, here we go, metal, oh, glory, glory. Nah, another loss. 2 in a day, that's okay. I did split the risk. Good trade at the time. Can't do much about that. What was it again? I think it was a 12, wasn't it? Something like that on that pullback. It might have actually been the 8. I can't remember. I think it would have been the 8 just looking at that chart. But yeah, it's come off. So there goes a GPS and sounder combination. But that's okay because I've already bought one. Just waiting for it to arrive. Nothing there on NEO. Nothing on NEO. Why am I not looking at the 12? Because once again, there is no pullback that is clear here. And that is why I am hanging out for Bitcoin to pull back and then go, nah, and then head higher. That's what I hope for. Why? It will give the market confidence. It will give us trading opportunities. And it will just shore things up a little bit more. I like to have all time frames in agreement. James has suggested, I was going to say, sometimes after a good short, I'll print the chart and literally turn it upside down because I get stuck in bear mode. There you go. Whatever works, mate. If you need to lather yourself in oil and chuck feathers over your body, if that helps you with your own mental clarity, then I suggest that you go ahead and do that. In your bath, at home, by yourself, preferably. Okay, how do I get the 8-hour and 16-hour time frames? Is it best to get on FTX and or Trading View? Phil, mate, this is FTX. Sorry, not FTX. This is Trading View. I think Plus. I think it's Plus or Pro. Either way, I don't have the higher end one because I just don't need it. I don't, my indicators are MACD 10 and 20. That's it. I don't need lots of things. I don't need to have if you upgrade to this package, you can have 750 things that make you confused and can't read the market. That's not how I trade. So for me, it's not worthy of that. But I've got Pro, and that means you can set your own preset timeframes and add them up here. See, I could go 122, and there it is. I could go 1569, and it doesn't do it. There you go. You can set it for whatever you like. Phil, you have to pay Trading View around 160 for the years for that. Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Big Root. What's happening is Bitcoin going down further. I will answer that question tomorrow after it's happened. It's having a pullback. Orbs, it's a very thinly traded market. So is Oxy, so I tend not to touch that. If I'm going to trade gold, I'll be trading gold elsewhere as there's no liquidity here. Perp, again, very flat. Priv, deep pullback. That was a little beauty. That was a little beauty. The pullbacks, that's what I want. And you can see here, when I talk about cyclicity, check it out. Pullback, up, pullback, up. See that? That's a nice trending market. This is a pullback market, and it's pulling back now, not in the 4-hour, because it was pulling back on the 4-hour. It's about nominating the time frames that you see the probabilities stacking in your favor. Right now, it's pulling back on the daily, but without the daily trend, is it a pullback or is it just going to keep falling? And that's the conundrum that we face right now. Yes, we have had momentum. Momentum and trend are two separate things. It's like the ocean and wind. They are both working together, but they are both separate. You can have no seas and lots of wind. You can have lots of seas and no wind. It's not very often that you have lots of wind and no seas. It's just a matter of time. So it's about understanding that there is a difference between momentum and trend. Trend is an uptrend, higher lows and higher highs. A downtrend is lower highs and lower lows. Momentum is just that. It's just movement in a direction. Nothing on Qtum, nothing on Ray. Reef is rolling. Ren is rolling as well. However, I will check the 8. You need mentorship. Can you help? If you want to go and have a look at what I do, go to TRADERCOBB.com and yep, you can check everything out for free for the Become a Trader course. There you go. All yours. Do I mentor people one-to-one anymore? Yeah, I do, but you can't pay for it. I don't do that anymore. I haven't done much of that at all, really, when it comes to this business. Rook, again, rolling back. I just value my time, and I also value my skill set. And the more time, that's why I don't do any, I do hardly any interviews anymore. And the reason that I do hardly any interviews is that back in 2019, when I was doing a heap, and 18 for that matter, I left an awful lot of monies on the table. And not only that, but that money that would have been converted into crypto or buying Bitcoin around those prices, it's also affected my longer term portfolio. So I don't know how much it's actually cost me, but it's gotten to a point where I went, you know what, I'm giving all these free interviews to everybody because I wasn't getting paid. But I'm not giving back to myself, and that didn't make sense. So I stopped. Nothing on there on SIA, SECO. Everything's having this pullback right now. Deeper pullback. I'm not liking that 12 either. There's very little actually available at the moment from what we've seen so far. Scale. No. Synthetics rolling back over. Solana. There is a pullback. It is rather messy. There ain't no doubt about that. It's had some cracking days though, hasn't it? Let's have a look at this 12. I'm just trying to see, is there any support or resistance points that may be of interest? I just spotted that. A little bit of a level running through here. It's not exact, it's not perfect, but you can certainly see that there has been some form of support. Resisted once, nearly twice. It does not add any real benefit other than a bonus factor, but we're coming into the... Yeah. Look, I'm going to keep an eye on it. If it sets up on the 12, say, tomorrow morning perhaps, then yeah. I always say, I'd like to be there to make a decision. And this is what it's about. It's about going through and finding those markets that have some form of a trend that may produce opportunity and throwing them together. That's easy to keep an eye on them. That way you can go and do stuff and not have to sit in your bum all day waiting for stuff that's unlikely to occur over the time frame you're looking at. That's what I call trading windows. Know the windows of opportunity and come and go as you please within them. Sushi dropping, nothing there. SXP, swipe, perpetual futures. No. Oh, see, look, through this run, there's been some ripper opportunities, really good moves. Do you have a recommendation on what time to be decision-making in the morning? A great time is whenever it suits you. That being said, no, a great time is when the new daily candles open, because that means across the board, if you're looking at the cradle trade, you're going to have every single time frame with a new candle opening. And that could open up opportunity just by virtue of the fact that everything's opening at the same time. So it's a good time. It doesn't really matter, though, in the sense that, let's say, at 10 a.m., you're going to have all the candles closed. At 10 p.m., you're going to have a large amount, everything other than the 16, the 8 maybe, because that doesn't go on the same cycle, and the daily. So there are times where you've got more things closing, but it's important to do a scan to start the day if you can, to see what's available there. Ash, what's a degen? I don't know what that means. Is that short for degenerate? I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it, and I'm going. Like, it makes me feel really old, especially when I, don't know how to use one of these things, these computer things. Nothing on Theta. Tomo is sideways. True is yuck. Tron trying. Yeah, it is degenerate. There you go. Got it. Tron's trying, but it ain't good enough for me. Uni, or commonly known as uni. I can hear kids playing in the park out by my window. And it is lovely. Makes me want to go home and... No, it doesn't make me want to go home that much. I'll tell you that. It's lovely when kids are happy, but I'll see mine later. Uniswap, nah, there's nothing really in it. I was looking at that 12 and, it's got quite a bit of time. Ash, you mean bastard. Quite a bit of time before anything's really going to come of that. Sorry, it's a longer scan today, and that's just because it is requiring, I guess, digging a little bit deeper around some of these time frames. Some days you come in and you go, oh, it's the 4 hour, bam, 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 and you can quickly get through. Well, I can quickly get through it, and we can make assessments relatively quickly. Today, it's more about with this pullback, working the time frames. And I'm in a good mood, so I'm a bit more chatty. Again, look, I'm not going to put that in your list if you want to, but for me, I'm going to catch that tomorrow morning. That's the time frame we're going to have. Yeah, Winston's the killer right now. He's probably up there with, I'd say maybe top trader of the month in the community. The guy's been, well, last time we did this, he'd had 10 winners from 11. So, and he just had a loss, first loss. Yeah, James has said I've had some honest moments focusing too much on lower time frames. It becomes a vicious cycle to be aware of. Absolutely, mate. That's I guess that's the sex, that's the sizzle, that's what sells. People want the excitement once you start trading. Most people gravitate towards those lower time frames because you think, well, the more I do, the more I can learn, right? Yeah, that can be true. But what if you don't know how to learn just yet? What if you haven't bedded down some of those basics? It can be a baptism of fire that can be good, or it can absolutely be destroying. If you are to trade those lower time frames, especially when you start doing those, I would suggest wholeheartedly roll your risk right back. So if you're using 1% on your normal trades, like a 4 hour, 8 hour, that sort of thing, something you've got a bit more time on, I'd be doing 0.1% or 0.25 max, because you've got to settle into that. It's a different way of trade. It's the same strategy and whatnot, strategies, but it happens faster. So you just need to be aware of that. There's lots of little things. It's kind of like a chippy. A carpenter or a plumber or anyone like that, they've got hundreds of tools in their toolkit. They don't use them all the time, but they do know through 4 years of training that, they know when they need to use that particular tool. You don't need to use it all the time, though. Just like you and I can probably go and build some shells. It'll take us a while, but we'll be able to build them. But we can't build a house. Well, maybe I could. It's only because my dad's a builder and I spent many years on the tools. It would be a wonky house. It wouldn't get passed by council, but I could build something. Any profit, even small, when learning, right? Look, when you're learning, the focus should certainly not be on the profit. And I'm sorry that might seem as a surprise. It should be on what you're taking from it. When you're learning, it's not about making money. It's about flawlessly executing as much as you can. And part of that is getting your screenshots and knowing what you're not executing flawlessly, because those are the areas you need to work on. An awareness of our environment allows us to make much better decisions. I said this before, but if you're in the Sahara Desert, no, wrong one. If you're in the, on some South African game range where there's, elephants and hippos and crocodiles, well, if you know that there's crocodiles there, you're probably not going to jump in the water, are you? But if you didn't, you might just jump in and get eaten by a hippopotamus, just to be completely unfair. Once you understand where you're at, or what you're at, or the environment for which you are presently within, that's when you can recognize, yep, right, I didn't do that bit. That's what learning is. It's not about, oh, I made a losing trade, I'm crap, I did the wrong thing. No, you can have a losing trade that's a great trade. I had 2 today. It happens. It's about understanding your development stages and minimizing that risk. If you're scared when you're risking money, you need to back that right off because you don't trade well when you're risking fearful cash. Loss is the price of administration at the University of Mother Markets. That's right. That's exactly right, Ash. Yeah, you're on the money, mate. Okay, Zcash pulling back deep again. Let's get back into this and finish this up because I got to go and find a place to park a boat. Zcash, yeah. Nah, it's not cutting that mustard. No mustard on the sausage today. Zilliqa, no thanks. ZRX, no thanks. There's not much. There's not much going on. Let's see. I mean, there's plenty going on, but there's not much in the way of opportunity. The opportunities, if they are going to present themselves here at this stage, and things can change very quickly, I will add, they seem to be on the higher time frames as with ALCX. I have not traded this yet, so I'm not sure about liquidity, but you make the call. I'll have a look at the 15 quickly. Doesn't look too bad. But yeah, the higher time frames. Basic attention token. My concern, yeah, it was the 8, wasn't it? I was looking at that because we got the 16 as an uptrend, but not the daily. Again, if a little bullish candle set up in there, I want to know. I can say no at the time. We'll see from there. On to Binance. Did that just fall quickly while we were on the scan? It did. There we go. All right, well, that's kind of... yeah, not so... The problem with the 12 is, again, the 12's in an uptrend. The daily isn't. I think I'm just going to have to Roger Ramjet that one. Scram. Pancake swap. Beauty. Little bullish candle in here. Yeah, again, I want to be aware of that. Things can change, but if I'm aware, I can make those decisions. Okay, Dot pulling back again, waiting for that bullish candle. Feeder. Again, waiting for that bullish candle. We got a long time to wait, guys. we realistically do. I don't mind this. Carve is probably the one that could potentially offer opportunity, given that we actually have a pullback, we have a trend, we have some momentum. I don't like the 1. The 2, sure. Solana, we go back to the higher time frames. We look at the 12, we look at the 8, and we say, let's wait some more. So guys, yeah, today's list, well, there isn't a great deal. It is the higher time frames. We can see the top 10 pulling back, but what I will say is this. Perspective. Look, we've just had a mammoth run up. All going to plan. If we want to see Bitcoin keep on sailing higher, it needs to have a little break. And that's what it's doing. I am hopeful, and hope is not a strategy, but I am hopeful that we pull back, we go, and we start moving back up. Because if we can do that and get ourselves into an uptrend on the daily, which we are not in, this is momentum. This is an uptrend. Yeah? Difference. All right? This is an uptrend. Love it. This is momentum. And that is your lesson for today. This scan is proudly brought to you by the letter M for momentum. Have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go to TraderCobb.com if you'd like to learn more about what I do. There are free options, so go and fill your boots. Have a great day. Call your mates, check on them. And if you're not feeling very good about the things that are going on at the moment, I totally understand. Work on you. Look after yourself. And if you are in the, if you do have the ability to speak to other people, I strongly suggest it. I've had some hard times myself over the last week or so. So yeah, it shows strength to say, hey, I need to talk, not weakness. Mwah. Love ya. Catch you soon. Bye for now.